to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who has joined our program today on the Emergency Management Associates Network. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being here, guys. It's always a pleasure to be here with all of you, our EMA family. We're going to wait just a few more minutes until we get some people here in the chat. We're already getting some thumbs up. We appreciate that as well. Yesterday we had 4,000, count them, 4,000 views on this channel. That's a bunch of them. That's a bunch of them. We appreciate that. We're nearly at 4,000 subscribers right now, okay? We're just barely, I think, 27 subscribers from hitting 4,000. I would sure love to hit 4,000 within the next couple days. We now have a few more people here in the Emergency Management Associates chat room. I want to welcome everybody here to the Emergency Management Associates Network. We're coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, on the east coast of North America. We want to welcome everybody here. Highway Runner beat everybody in. Demon Catman from the east of England is here with us. Thank you very much. Sleeping Volcano is here. Thank you so much. Teresa Taskovich, I hope I pronounced your name right. Teresa, welcome. S. Nord is here. Thank you. Anatolian is here. Cassandra Goss is here. Aubrey's here. Demon Catman is here. And Diane Myers is here. I want to thank some people for helping support our channel tonight. Earlier today, we went to the post office box, which is, again, 104 North Green Street, box 105 here in Morganton, North Carolina. Again, the zip code is 28655. We went to our post office box today, and guess what? We had a donation from Jeannie from Scottsdale, Arizona. Jeannie gave us a substantial donation for our computer so we could be able to bring you the best, most efficient show here that we possibly can. I want to thank Jeannie for her contributions. Just so you guys know who Jeannie is, about 4 years ago, Jeannie crocheted an Afghan for Carol and I. It's been on our bed ever since. She also knitted 2 beautiful sweaters that I do wear when it's cold out. I want to thank her for that. She also sent us a couple of shirts for me, with long sleeve shirts, which I really appreciate because I've worn them during the winter cold months. We appreciate that. I want to also thank our dear friends, Donna and Greg, for sending us a donation this past weekend for Easter. Thank you so much for that. Linda Covington has also helped us out with a PayPal donation of $33. We really appreciate that, Linda. Thank you so much for that. Now, everyone, I want to make sure that we are abiding by our wishes here on this channel. Please, folks, please keep your chats as to what we're talking about right now. Daily Verses just put up a chat saying Jesus Christ died for you. You're absolutely right. But please keep your chats pinpointed to what we're talking about tonight. We're going to have a devotional when this program is finished. I promise you we will get to a devotional before the end of this program. We do a devotional the last 5 or 10 minutes of this program, and please keep your scriptural remarks to that devotional. We appreciate that. Please stay on topic with your chats here in this chat room. It would make a great deal of difference. Demon Catman is also talking about please help with the analytics and give this show a thumbs up. Absolutely. We appreciate any and all thumbs up that you give us. If you enjoy what we're giving you and the information we're giving out, please give us a thumbs up. If you think this program is worthy of you and your friends, please subscribe to this channel. It's very important you subscribe to the channel. Why? Because, folks, in order for you to get anything out of this channel, you need to know that we're here. You won't be guided to this program by YouTube. They just don't do that. They haven't been sending us any people here to this channel for a very long time. Folks, please subscribe to this channel if you believe it's worthy of yourself and your friends and neighbors and family. It's very important. Okay? Now, please do that. I'll talk more about subscriptions later, but please subscribe. And when you do that, click on that little bell icon that's right next to the subscription button so you get notified when we come on the air. Just a little bit more housekeeping here as we're getting started. Okay? Just a second, I'm having to take care of something real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I just got through taking care of some business. Thank you very much, guys. While we're here on topic, it's very important that we share this program far and wide. I've always said, please share this program with your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, the people you care about, the people you socialize with on social media, and also the people you work with. We found a lot of people have talked about our program with the people they work with, and as a result, we've gotten quite a few more subscribers. Every time I work with someone out in my community, I tell them about this program, or they ask about this program, and I immediately give them a link to this program so they can follow us. A lot of people are interested in what we can gather for you to keep you more prepared for what is going on around you. This program is all about situational awareness, making sure we understand where we're at and anybody and anything going on around us. Once we do that, we're putting ourselves in a safer position. Okay? We're going to spend a significant time tonight talking about earthquakes. I hope you're ready for that. A lot of people love our talk about earthquakes. We're starting with earthquakes tonight. Judy Olson is from Southern California. Thank you for being here, Judy. We really appreciate you here. That means a great deal to us. Tila Daly is saying, hope you are very healthy. I'm working on that. By the way, yesterday afternoon, I got a telephone call from my doctor's office. My numbers are very good. Number one, I've lost some weight. Number two, my PSA cancer numbers are way low, which means I've pretty much beaten cancer. I'm cured. Okay? That's something good right now to talk about. I am cured from cancer. Okay? My cholesterol is down. All my numbers that would reflect me needing to do something to keep myself alive, they're all very good at this point in time. So guys, we're in a good place right now. Okay, let's get talking about earthquakes, okay? I want to talk about earthquakes that have hit today, okay? Over in the southwestern Pacific, okay, I want to go over here and show you what has happened. As you can see, I've highlighted an earthquake here. This is in the Southern Mariana Trench, over here in the southwestern Pacific. Right here, this is a red earthquake that just happened, okay? This earthquake is a 5.7, but there's a much larger earthquake here that we need to talk about. This earthquake is a very strong 6.2 earthquake in the Northern Mariana Islands, Saipan. It's 136 kilometers northeast of Saipan. Okay? It's a very shallow earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? This is a very strong 6.2 earthquake, and I believe it probably was a 6.6 earthquake. A 6.6 magnitude earthquake. USGS has it as a 6.2. As you know, I don't believe half of what USGS says, and if they printed it up, I wouldn't even believe anything that they told us in print media. Okay? I just don't. Every time I've looked at anything, it's been wrong. Okay? This 6.2 earthquake happened at 5:54 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. Okay? This would have been last night. I'm sorry, not last night. Scratch that. This would have probably been the middle of the day on Wednesday over here in the Mariana Islands. Okay? Different time zone. North of there, in the Izu Islands, just southeast of Japan, this is a 4.6 earthquake. Folks, I don't know why they do it. This is not the only earthquake anywhere near Japan. I'm going to zoom in here and show you an earthquake that happened yesterday here in Japan. Okay? The earthquake was a very large, I shouldn't say very large, it was a large 5.2 earthquake right in this area right here. Right over here. This was a very large, I'm going to say very large, a 5.2 earthquake. It struck in a very populated area of town. Now, yesterday and today, the media is saying, and I'm talking about Japanese people, are saying that yes, it was a large earthquake, but there's no property damage and no one was injured. And that's very good news. No property damage and no one was injured from yesterday's 5.2 earthquake. Think about aftershocks here. They should be. They absolutely should be. Unreal. Unreal. Let's go over here to Western Japan. Okay? Right down here in the Sea of Japan. Okay? This is called the Noto Peninsula. It sits over here off the west coast of Japan in the Sea of Japan. About 2 months ago, we had a very strong major earthquake. An 8.4 earthquake happened off the northern shore of Noto Peninsula in Japan. That earthquake killed 300 people and injured about 500 others. Okay? We still have earthquakes hitting here. Every one of the earthquakes hitting here today were small earthquakes, 3 small earthquakes, 3.2, 3.5, and 3.7 earthquakes here at the Noto Peninsula in Japan. Okay? It's happening. It's happening. USGS almost never tells us everything. Very rarely. Okay? Now I want to go over here. Okay? Where is this? This is an earthquake. This is southeast, actually northeast of Taiwan, the Republic of Taiwan out here in the South China Sea. This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake, also 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep. Okay? It's off the coast of Taiwan. The ocean waters off the coast tend to be absorbed. The earthquake waves tend to be absorbed by the ocean water if the earthquake is far enough off the coast. The ocean water absorbs the strength of the quake. Nobody over on Taiwan felt this quake. Okay? Then I want to go over here. USGS is not showing any earthquakes here. There are earthquakes in central Philippines and off the northeast coast of Mindanao Island, Philippines, right here, where you see my cursor. Again, 3 small earthquakes have hit here, just off the coast of Mindanao, Philippines here. US are here near what they call Generoso, Philippines. Generoso, Philippines, right here. Okay? It was a 4.5 earthquake, no damage. It was out in the South Pacific waters here. Okay? Look over here in Indonesia. USGS is trying to tell us that nothing happens here. Only 2 earthquakes here. East of Java, we're having a 4.4 earthquake here. This is 62.7 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. We go over here into central Indonesia. Okay? This is a 5.0 earthquake near Kendari, Indonesia. Kendari, Indonesia. A large 5.0 earthquake hit here today. Now, there are several other earthquakes here in Indonesia they're not telling us about. We're going over to the island of Sumatra. 3 earthquakes here in southern Sumatra here. They're not telling us about. Okay? Over here in eastern Java, we have another 3.7 earthquake here. Again, they're not saying word one about it. Right over here in Timor, Leste Timor, there's another 4.7 earthquake here. Again, they're not telling us about. Then this earthquake east of Java here that we just got through telling you about, a 4.4 earthquake here. They're not saying it. Why not? Because they don't want us to know what's going on. They honestly don't care. They don't give a flying rat's frosty keister what happens to us or anyone else. Over here in the central part of the South Island of New Zealand, this came out as a 4.5 earthquake. It's been downgraded to a 3.9. I keep my eyes on New Zealand, especially when they have a 4.5 earthquake. This was a 4.5 earthquake. USGS has downgraded this to a 3.9. The 0.9 society is very active within the USGS system. They don't want to be honest and tell us exactly what's going on. But over here in the central part of the South Island, over here in the spine of the island, where all of these mountains are, a lot of these mountains, guys, were formed by subduction, volcanoes. Wherever you have subduction, meaning one plate under the other, there is upward movement of the hills, upward movement of the land, causing mountains. Okay? It's called mountain building. That's what's happened down here in southern New Zealand. Again, a 4.5 hit here, and USGS immediately downgraded it here. This happened just after 12:30 this afternoon, 12:34 p.m. this afternoon, and USGS has no business downgrading it. We have a bunch of 2s and one 3.0 over here in the South Island of New Zealand. Over here on the North Island, they call it Raoul Island here. We have numerous earthquakes all around this area, all around the North Island. We have a lot of earthquakes just north of Taupo Lake. This lake you see here is called Taupo Lake. It's a supervolcano over here in New Zealand. We have several 2s and a few 3 earthquakes, meaning small earthquakes. 3.0 to 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. 2s, most of the 2s that we see here on the North Island are 2.3, 2.5, 2.7 and 2.9 earthquakes. Okay. Typically what we see here on the North Island is about 12 to 15 earthquakes here every day. And that's what we have here today. 14 earthquakes here on the North Island. Over here in what they call the catcher's mitt. Okay. This is what they call the Bay of Plenty. They call it catcher's mitt because that's what it looks like from the satellite. Looks like a great big catcher's mitt here. The Bay of Plenty here, we have about 5 earthquakes here. These are 2s and mostly 3s here. 2s and mostly 3s over here in the catcher's mitt. Over here on the northeast part of New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand, we have a 3.7 right here. 3.7 magnitude quake here. Okay. Now, I want to go over here to the west. Okay. Why? Because, folks, they're not showing any earthquakes here in China. And there are 3 earthquakes here in China. Over here in southwestern border area of China and Russia, we have Afghanistan and Tajikistan. We've got a 4.5 earthquake in Afghanistan and a 4.7 in Tajikistan. They're not showing that, are they? Heaven forbid. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Turkey and Iran. Not one earthquake listed in this area at all. What a joke. What a freaking joke. Over here in Turkey, look what we're showing you here in Turkey. No earthquakes in the Turkey-Syria border region right here. There are about 45 earthquakes here today. Most of these earthquakes are 1.07, 1.7, 2.5, 2.6, and 2.7 earthquakes right in this region. Yes, we still get 4.5 and 5.0, 5.5 earthquakes in this Turkey-Syria border region. Why? Because 1 year ago, this past February, this area here was struck by a 9.0, 10.0 megathrust earthquake here. This area here was hit by a 9.0, 10.0 magnitude earthquake here in the Turkey-Syria border region. Over 5,000 people were killed here, and over 5,000 people were injured. Now, when they get 3.5 and 4.5 earthquakes, and even upwards of a good-sized 5.5 earthquake here, they get shook up. Okay, that was not a joke. They get shook up because their lives got turned upside down last year. Buildings were pancaked here. Buildings were pancaked. Lives were turned upside down here. Okay? This area is also border area for war. Unfortunately, it is a war zone. So those people are greatly suffering. They're also not showing any other earthquakes here in Turkey. That's a fallacy too. There are about 20 other earthquakes, mostly in the northern border region of Turkey up here and over here on the west side of Turkey. Okay? About 20 earthquakes today, and they're not showing a single one. Over here, just southwest of Turkey, this is the Volcanic Islands. These islands here that I'm showing you off the coast of Turkey here belong to Greece. This island here is called Symi, S-Y-M-I, Greece. Small island over here in the Volcanic Islands. This is a 4.2 magnitude earthquake here today. A 4.2 magnitude earthquake. It's not the only one here. Over here near Crete, we have several earthquakes north and just south of Crete here. The Anatolian fault that comes over here out of eastern Turkey here, the Turkey-Syria border region, the Anatolian fault comes out of here and goes south of Cyprus here, comes through the Mediterranean here, and goes south of Crete. Okay? That's one of the reasons we have earthquakes in the southern part of Crete, is because of the Anatolian fault here. There are also earthquakes over here in Greece. About 30 earthquakes here in this region of Greece. USBS not saying one word about it. Sad. Very, very sad. Earthquake here. Okay? This is Bosnia-Herzegovina. This is also a moderate 4.0 earthquake. A moderate 4.0 earthquake. This is also 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. These are also not the only earthquakes that are here. Not the only earthquakes that are here. Going over here to Italy, I want to show you this. This is very disappointing. Okay, right here. Look at Italy. Down here in Sicily, there are some earthquakes right in here. The earthquakes here down in southern Italy, and about 20 earthquakes up here in central Italy. And yet, this is another area where USGS is not showing one doggone earthquake. Why? Why? They show 1.07s all the time. They show 2.5s all the time. They show 4.5s all the time. And they show 5.5s all the time. USGS, why are you not showing these earthquakes in central Italy? Inquiring minds want to know. Over here in northern Italy, in the Alps here, we have several earthquakes right over here to the northeast here. Over here in the southwest, we have some more earthquakes here. Also up here in the Alps, we have some 1.0, 1.07, 2.7, 2.8, and 3.0 earthquakes all over the Alps here. Over here in Switzerland, Austria, Germany up here. Going over here to France, we've got 2s and 3s over here in France. Why are they not showing anything here? Inquiring minds want to know. Over here in the border region between France and Spain right here, usually we have 2 or 3 earthquakes. Here we have 1. It's a 2.7 earthquake here. We have 3 earthquakes here in the south of Spain. Again, they're not showing any of these earthquakes either. Over here in Portugal, a couple 2.3 and 2.5 earthquakes here in Portugal. They're not showing any of those. They're not showing any earthquakes over here in the Azores, just south and west of Portugal. Why not? They're happening. Why are they not showing them? Over here in the Canary Islands, they're not showing any earthquakes here. We have a 1.5 and a 1.7 earthquake, or they're just tremors down here in the Canary Islands. Why are they not showing that? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay? They're not showing any earthquakes here in the Mid-Atlantic zone region. The South Mid-Atlantic down here, nothing. The North Mid-Atlantic up here, nothing. Earthquakes over here in the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, not showing a single one. Okay? We had a large earthquake here Sunday, and that seismic energy is going north. Why are they not showing it? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to take you now on a field trip. A field trip up here to Iceland. Okay? We all know that Iceland has been having volcanoes and minor earthquakes. Volcanoes and minor earthquakes down here in the Reykjanes Peninsula. This is called the Reykjanes Peninsula. Okay? Down here in the south part of the peninsula is where a volcano first started erupting here 2 years ago. Since then, it's crept up by maybe 10 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles going north here. Okay. November 7th, a volcanic incident right here, where you see my cursor here, just north of Grindavik, right here. Grindavik is a town right here of about 4,000 people. They evacuated Grindavik because they thought this volcano was going to destroy Grindavik with lava. It did not happen. The fissures that opened up here in November just opened up and fizzled out within 2 to 3 days. Okay? The lava poured out of that volcano in the fissure, and it didn't do much damage at all. Okay? In January, we had another eruption here. 2 different sites. One site up here, we see my cursor here. This was approximately 3-mile long fissure. The next day, right near Grindavik here, another small fissure erupted. The fissure erupted and lava flowed out of it over here to the outskirts of Grindavik. It burned down 3 homes. Since then, the crews from the state of Iceland, the country of Iceland, built a huge earthen wall around Grindavik here. A huge earthen wall around Grindavik. They're also repairing the streets around Grindavik. Many of the streets here were devastated by huge fissures that opened up here with earthquakes. Huge fissures opened up all over Grindavik here. 1 person was killed. 1 person was killed as a result of being in the fissure. Crews were attempting to fill the fissure up with dirt, and he had a tamping machine tamping down that dirt so they could add more. And when he was tamping it down, the fissure swallowed him up. That's all I'm going to address at this time about that one incident, because it's very sensitive for he and his for his family now. They never found his body, and they've since filled up that fissure. They're repairing the infrastructure here in Grindavik. Now, with that said, there were 14 homes here in Grindavik that were totally damaged by the earthquakes, made those homes uninhabitable. There is an insurance company that is insuring all the homes all over Iceland. They're insuring all the homes all over Iceland, especially those down in Grindavik. The people whose homes were destroyed, the insurance company is buying them out. The insurance company is buying them out, and they're relocating to other homes and places around Iceland, and that's in homes. Okay? Since this last event happened here, Grindavik residents became afraid when the lava started coming down here to the northern and the southern side of Grindavik here. Lava flowed out of an open fissure way up here. Okay? It flowed down here to northern Grindavik here, but because the workers people here in Iceland built a great big huge earthen wall around Grindavik here, the lava did not go into Grindavik. It flowed down here, this earthen wall, and it came down here to the south side as well. Totally missing Grindavik. Now, the people that were working here had to raise the height of the wall. The original wall was 30 to 40 feet high. They had to raise it. Why? Because this fissure that opened up here kept pouring out lava. Kept pouring out lava. And the lava field kept getting thicker and thicker and thicker. This wall here that was at 40 feet, they raised it up another 15 feet. So the lava did not penetrate over the earthen wall here, the protection wall. They call it the defense wall. Did not go over the defense wall here and go into Grindavik at all. Now, as I stated here before, the fissure that opened up here, right in this area that I'm showing you here, it opened up here and opened up to a fissure that was 3.5 kilometers wide or long. 3.5 kilometers long. That's about 1.5 miles long. The fissure kept going. Okay? It's now been over 2 weeks since the fissure opened up. The people, the scientists here in Iceland have been monitoring this. Now, I've got some good news here for all of you here in Iceland and other places around the world that are concerned about the people here in Iceland. The fissure has now gone down to only 2 lava craters. Only 2 lava craters left. The 3rd lava crater burned out last night. It's no longer emitting lava fountains out of that cone. The other 2 fountain cones are right in here. Okay? Only 2 fountain cones that are remaining that are only showing small fountaining going on here at the cones, the crater. 2 craters here left. Now, one of the craters is a major crater. That crater is 40 feet high. The mountain that the lava has built here is 40 feet high. Okay? On the southwestern side of the crater, there is a dip. Okay? Let me bring this back here so I can show you. Okay? The southwest side of the crater looks like something like this. And lava is coming out from over that dip in the crater. It's coming out and pouring out a small amount of lava into that lava field. The lava field there is about 5 feet thick. 5 feet thick. And only small amounts of lava are getting out of that crater. Now, what happens with these craters as the lava continues fountaining? The crater builds up. There is a crater wall on the western side of the crater. There is a crater wall around the western side of the crater. There's a smaller crater wall over here on the southeast side. Okay? Like I said, it's something like this. As the lava fountaining continues, that very hot molten lava breaks down even more of that sidewall crater. It breaks it down. It builds it up and breaks it down, builds it up and breaks it down. That's why we still have some lava going out into that lava field, but not very much. Like I said, there's only 2 craters left out of that huge 1.5 mile fountaining fissure that opened up. It's almost stopped, but not quite. Scientists, Professor Thorvaldsson from the Icelandic Met Office, he's a professor at Iceland University over in Reykjavik. He said today that they're not even sure, they're just monitoring these craters now. They don't know when an end to this volcanic event is going to come to a close. This is the longest running fountaining event in the history, the modern history of Iceland. Okay? In the modern history of Iceland, this is the largest, longest running fountain event. Now, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen 2 weeks from now. when the lava stops running? No one knows. We're going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to keep in contact with Professor Thorpelson. He's a great man. They are all great people that are in this area. Now, I want to show you something else, okay? And this is really important about Iceland, okay? I'm going to back this map out so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? You see this red line here? This is a mid-Atlantic fault. It goes right through the Reykjanes Peninsula, okay? It's cutting Iceland in half here. Just like it's done down in the northern part of the Mid-Atlantic fault, pushing the North American continent in a southwesterly direction. The Mid-Atlantic fault is also expanding here in Iceland. It is expanding here in Iceland. Okay? You need to be aware of that. Up until recently, up until even the last day or so, we were having earthquakes up here. The earthquakes down here near Greenvik stopped. The earthquakes down here near Greenvik stopped. Meaning, well, let's come back down here to Greenvik for just a second, okay? So I can show you what's happened here, okay? Again, Greenvik is a small town here, affected by lava here, okay? Just outside Greenvik, okay? I want to show you this. Just outside Greenvik here, just to the north of town, there is a Svartsengi power plant. They call it the Svartsengi power plant. This power plant has been providing power and hot water to all the people in Iceland, literally. This is the largest power plant here in Iceland. They've been providing power and hot water to all the residents of Iceland, including the businesses as well. Okay? There's only one other smaller power plant just east of Reykjavik. This is the main power plant. Now, up until just about 2 weeks ago, the land was still raising up underneath the Svartsengi power plant. The great big huge magma reservoir underneath the Svartsengi power plant was raising the Svartsengi power plant up in the air. It was getting higher and higher. Guess what happened 2 weeks ago? The land quit rising. The land at the Svartsengi power plant and the Blue Lagoon stopped rising. Okay? The GPS indicators showed no more land rise at all. It's plateaued. And that's good news for the people in Greenvik. That's good news for the people that work over here at the Svartsengi power plant. And it's good news for the people that work at the Blue Lagoon. Now, speaking of the Blue Lagoon has been closed since the beginning of this present volcanism eruption here that happened. Okay? The most recent eruption here that just happened just about 2.5 weeks ago. Okay? Again, there's only 2 more craters that's spewing lava out. Now, with that said, the lava that's still pouring out of this fissure, these 2 craters at this fissure, is putting out what they call VOG, volcanic gas pouring out of the lava here, sulfuric dioxide or sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide coming from the lava. Clouds and clouds of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide are making its way out of the lava. Sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide are poisonous. They are tasteless and they cannot be seen. We still have, or they still have gas meters at the Smart Sangay power plant and also the Blue Lagoon. They don't want to invite any tourists back to the Blue Lagoon yet. The weather system that's been circling around Iceland for a while has been blowing those toxic gases over towards the Blue Lagoon and the Smart Sangay power plant. The workers at the Smart Sangay power plant here have been monitoring it as well, and they've been wearing gas masks so they could work. That's not the case over the Blue Lagoon. Just a week or so ago, a worker at the Blue Lagoon had to be transported to the nearby hospital because he was overcome by sulfur dioxide. A day later, he was sent back home to recover. I believe he's now recovered, but the Blue Lagoon is still closed down. Okay? Until those two craters completely stop running here, it will probably remain closed down for the interim level. Now, summertime is coming. Summertime is coming. And hopefully, within the next few weeks, these craters will no longer be spewing lava, and as a result, there will be no more toxic clouds coming out of this present eruption. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're hoping. Anyway, backing out here, this wonderful mid-Atlantic fault is cutting Iceland in half, literally. Okay, we've been having earthquakes here. Or should I say, they've been having earthquakes here because this mid-Atlantic fault is expanding. Okay, it's expanding. Even over here into central Iceland. Central Iceland, guys. Now, I've got some kind of news to tell you about. Okay? Earlier actually the end of last week, right here. Okay? This is an Askja crater, ASKJA crater. It's a volcano and it's active. On Thursday, I believe, they had a 4.5 earthquake here. The water here in this lake here is warm water. It's warm water. Why? Because the volcano has been heating this water up. At the bottom of this lake, there is an active volcano. Molten magma down here beneath this lake has been heating up this lake. Like I said, we had a 4.5 earthquake. Well, guess what, everybody? The earthquakes now have stopped. The earthquakes in this region have stopped. And that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. Okay? So Askja volcano has stopped putting out minor earthquakes and tremors, as well as that 4.5 earthquake, a moderate earthquake there. It stopped, fortunately. Now, I don't know what's happened here. Okay, I fixed it. I don't know what happened, but I had to fix it. All of a sudden, I got a menu here saying, remove this moderator. No, I'm not going to remove my moderator. I happen to like Demon Cat. I'm not going to remove him. Anyway, guys, I'm back here. I just showed you what's going on over there in Iceland. A lot of people have been concerned about it. That's why I've spent such a great deal of time talking about Iceland today. It's still going, but it's calming down. Hopefully going to shut down very soon. But nobody knows the day or the hour, literally. Okay? Eli Earth says, good afternoon, mods, fellow viewers, and our host, Ron. God bless your afternoon today. Can't wait to dig into some earthquake stuff. We have been talking about earthquakes. We've been talking about a lot of earthquakes, guys. Hang in there. There's more to come. There's a lot more to come. Okay? Now, I want to go over into North America, Canada, United States, and or earthquakes and all. Now, over on the New Madrid Fault, we've been talking a great deal about the New Madrid Fault. Steele, Missouri today had a 2.5 minor earthquake, a 2.5 magnitude earthquake. I want to show you this right here. A 2.5 moderate or minor earthquake over here on the New Madrid Fault, right there. This is the center of the New Madrid Fault. Okay. During this past week, we've had several minor earthquakes, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9 earthquakes right here on the New Madrid Fault. Over here in Tennessee, we had an earthquake here. This was a 2.9 last week. It is all can't even talk. There is a federal penitentiary right here. And at that federal penitentiary, they have a seismograph. That's why we know that those earthquakes hit. And guess what? They're continuing to hit today, but the USGS isn't talking about it. Heaven forbid. Earthquakes are hitting all over this area here. USGS not talking about anything but over here at Steele, Missouri. A minor 2.5 earthquake. 2.5s are hitting all over this area. But there's also 3.0 and 3.5 small quakes. Small quakes are larger than the minor or 2.5 earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.9 are considered to be minor quakes. 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. And yes, we're having them here, all over this area. And USGS is not saying word one about it. Now, I want to tell you some information that I found last night, late last night, about the New Madrid Fault. December 1811 into January 1812. The New Madrid Fault opened up with a fury. It opened up with a fury. Even over here in Asheville, North Carolina, which is 75 miles to the south and west of Morganton, where I live. Asheville, North Carolina felt that earthquake hit. It rumbled. People in Asheville felt that quake. All over the eastern seaboard, people felt that quake. It was a major earthquake. At the time, the people were told that it was a major earthquake, 7.1 quake. Now scientists are saying that that earthquake was over an 8.0. A very major earthquake. 8+0 earthquake. A big deal. Okay? Now, let me give you some new information. And I just found this out. At the time of this earthquake, there were several volcanic eruptions in the Mississippi River. Several volcanic eruptions happened in the Mississippi River. The river boiled. The river boiled. Several people got burned. Okay? That Mississippi River was hot in places. Okay? Now, I've already told you this information that I'm about to tell you now. I've told you this before. The Mississippi River stopped flowing for 7 minutes. The Mississippi River stopped flowing for 7 minutes. And as a result, that water that backed up, it actually flowed northbound instead of south. The water that backed up is where the Reelfoot Lake is today. REELFOOTE, Reelfoot Lake. It's still there. Cabins, farms were covered with water. Some people died, but nobody has those records. Those farms and cabins that were homes to those people farming the land died as the Mississippi River flooded their property. Okay? That actually happened. Again, at least 2 to 3 volcanoes erupted in the Mississippi River. There's plenty of information to support that. I was not aware of that before last night. I viewed a video program and I was astonished what I found. Okay? Incredible. Really incredible. I had no idea. Anyway, these earthquakes amounted to about 4,000 earthquakes that started in December 1811 through January 1812. Can you imagine getting hit with those kind of earthquakes every day? Every day, earthquakes hit and killed people. Back in the day there were only a handful of people living in this area. There were only a handful of people that lived in this area. Now, what happened? What happened? Some people were killed. Other people evacuated themselves to higher ground. Because the water in the Mississippi River rose. The water in the Mississippi rose because of the volcano happening there. Okay? Boats were swamped. Some boats that were there in the area were damaged beyond belief, and they had to be abandoned. Okay? The boiling water and the rising water caused rapids in the Mississippi River, and it floated those damaged boats out to sea, and nobody saw them again. A lot of people lost everything when those boats got damaged. Those boats helped transport people all over, literally. Okay, the Mississippi River transported thousands upon thousands of people. This was right after the French turned over the Louisiana Territory to the United States. Okay, about that same time period. The French turned over the Louisiana Territory over to the United States. The Spaniards also turned property over in Louisiana and over in Arkansas and Missouri, turned it over to the United States as well. Okay, the Louisiana Purchase happened, making that area part of the United States. And then that area got knocked out by that huge earthquake. And it wasn't just one quake, it was multiple quakes. 8,000, anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000 earthquakes happened there. Those earthquakes were felt all the way up into Virginia and Washington. They were felt all the way out to the West Coast. They were felt all the way down towards Florida, everywhere, even over here in North Carolina. Unreal. This earthquake is about ready to go again. The same kind of situation that was happening just prior to that major earthquake happen is happening now. Minor earthquakes, small earthquakes, and even 4.5 earthquakes that we've reported about over here in Missouri. We've talked about all of you folks up in Indiana and Illinois. Yes, earthquakes are happening there as well. Tremors and minor earthquakes are happening as far north as Illinois and Indiana and Ohio. Okay? We're expecting this to happen again. Scientists believe it probably won't happen for 25 to 50 years. Seeing the progress of the earthquakes, like I said, I looked at this video very closely last night. Judging by what happened then and what's happening now, I don't think we have much more than 2 years before the new Madrid fault opens up again. Okay? So you folks over along the New Madrid Fault on the west and the east side need to be making decisions on what you yourselves are going to do. Okay? It's now heavily populated, but back in the 1811, 1812 time period, during that time period, millions of people. Millions of people. You folks need to be making some decisions what you're going to do for you and your family. A great lot of people work here. I now have friends up and down the entire fault zone that I talk to on a regular basis. They are just concerned as I am. When they hear scientists say, oh, it's not going to happen for another 25 to 50 years, it's already overdue. And the earthquakes are happening now. The preliminary earthquakes are already happening. I've been studying this since 2011, extensively. I've got almost 14 years of studying here about the New Madrid Fault. I've been part of 2 disaster drills involving the New Madrid Fault. One where I was over there in Little Rock, Arkansas, in the operations center at ADAM, okay? The Arkansas Department of Emergency Management, ADAM. I was there. The last time was about a year or so ago. I don't remember the exact dates. It coincided with the dates that the earthquake hit, though, okay? We're expecting that earthquake again to have and wreak all kinds of havoc, okay? As I've explained before, a lot of the highways are old cow paths. A lot of the 2-lane blacktop highways were cattle paths and horse paths. Those cattle paths and horse paths were rock and gravel and dirt. Now they're paved over with asphalt. During this earthquake, they had huge fissures opened up that blocked the roadway areas. Now paved, the same thing's going to happen. But no traffic's going to be able to get through because the fissures that open up in the roadway. It's going to happen again. As I stated the other day, there are going to be fires over there in the towns and cities up and down the fault line, on the west and the east side of the fault. Gas mains and water mains breaking. Power going out all over the place. and fires erupting as gas mains break. The only way they're going to put out those fires is by airdrop from helicopters and planes. The fire departments will only have a short amount of water that they can use from their trucks, and that's all. These fires will be fought from the air. Food and medicine will have to be brought into that area by air. The stores will be ransacked within a matter of time, minutes probably, from people trying to get supplies for themselves and their families. What's going to happen? It'll become a civil war there, trying to get by with what little they have. Time will stop over here in Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and probably even over in Georgia. That whole southern area is going to be destroyed when this earthquake hits again. I'm trying to give you a heads up. I don't know how many of you live here along the New Madrid Fault. Overall, I have watched people come and go here in the chat over the last couple of years. They said that they lived here, and I took them at their word, which means there are people here that are part of our program. If you have family members here on the New Madrid Fault, point them to this program. I'm trying to give you information that's going to save your lives. This could happen any day. It could happen tonight. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next month or next year. But it's going to happen. And it's going to be happening relatively soon. I don't give it much more than 2 years, judging by what we've seen. Increased earthquake activity that has ramped up exponentially. The earthquake information that we have, the earthquakes have ramped up exponentially in strength. I'm giving you a heads up. Okay? Here, the southwestern part of the United States is still rocking and rolling. Okay? The southwestern part of the United States is rocking and rolling over here in Texas. Right over here in Texas, right there. Okay? For example, this is a 3.1 earthquake. I'm sorry, this is not the central United States. I was meaning to show you Texas. This is Lincoln, Montana. This is northwest from Yellowstone. A 3.1 small quake up here in the Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber reaches up here to the Canadian border. It comes out here into Wyoming and Montana, and it comes back down here over around northern Utah down here. Then it comes over here into southeastern Idaho, going up here to Challis, Idaho, right here, Challis, Idaho, and goes up here back to the Canadian border area, this huge area. The Yellowstone magma chamber is 11 Grand Canyons in size. 11 Grand Canyons in size. This is a 3.1 earthquake over here in Lincoln, Montana. The Yellowstone magma chamber here. This earthquake here is also in Lincoln. It's a 1.8 tremor, an aftershock of that quake. Let's go south. I just happen to love this one. Okay? Notice it's a diamond. Where'd it go? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure we don't lose it this time. This is over near Butte, Montana. Whenever I see diamonds here and USGS says, oh, it's a quarry blast or explosion, I've got to figure it out. I looked at this earlier. Yes, there is indeed a quarry. We visited this quarry many times during the last probably a year, 2 years. This is indeed a quarry blast here. This is a 1.6 tremor here at the quarry. They lit up dynamite and are trying to get back further down into the soils here to obtain some kind of rock, probably building materials for this quarry. Okay, that's what they're doing here in Butte, Montana. Okay, isn't that interesting? A quarry above the Yellowstone magma chamber. Now, I want to go over here. I'm getting the biggest kick out of this. Okay, this is near Logan, Montana. Good old Logan, Montana. USGS has called this a quarry blast, a 1.4 quarry blast. Okay, over here, probably about 25 miles to the north, yes, there is a quarry. Okay, but I will bet you that this is just a tremor. Just a tremor near Logan, Montana. A 1.4 tremor. This just happens to be 1 mile deep. 1 mile deep. Quarries don't usually go down 1 mile. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. But it is not often. And this is far enough away from this quarry to have me doubtful that this is a quarry blast. Okay? It's far enough away. Now, I want to take you south here. And I think this is a little bit important. I think it's a skosh bit important here. Okay? What are these? Right here. Hebgen Lake Estates. Hebgen Lake Estates, this is northwest of Yellowstone. Northwest of Yellowstone. In 1959, there was another earthquake here. This is Hebgen Lake right here. In 1959, there was a 7.1 earthquake, and again, the scientists now say that it may have been larger than a 7.1. Here, it left a highway in Hebgen Lake itself. The landslide coming after this earthquake left a highway here over in Hebgen Lake. A cabin slid down off a hillside here and ended up in Hebgen Lake. Unsecured masonry, brick walls, and rock walls of fireplaces fell because it was not supported with walls of the cabin or the homes that the fireplaces were built in, or the brick walls around schools and other buildings. All that unsupported masonry fell because of this earthquake. Now there are stricter standards for building. Okay? But I want to show you this because we continue to have earthquakes here. This is northeast of Hebgen Lake. This is a 0.2 microquake at Hebgen Lake. Again, this is a USGS map. So this is showing that the USGS does report minor microquakes. A 0.2 is a microquake. And yes, USGS does report microquakes. Just so you know. Almost directly east of there, Mammoth, Wyoming. This is the Mammoth Geyser Basin. The Mammoth Geyser Basin. Again, this is in the Yellowstone area. Okay? The Mammoth Geyser Basin, we have a 0.3 microquake here in the Mammoth Geyser Basin. Yes, there are geysers up here as well. Okay. More earthquakes. Let's go further south here, just north of Yellowstone Lake here. Just north of Yellowstone Lake. And it's interesting to note here. Guess what they're reporting here? They're reporting that this earthquake is near Mammoth. It's not. Mammoth was up here. The Mammoth Geyser Basin's here. Folks, this is Yellowstone Lake. This is just out to the north of Yellowstone Lake. Probably, I want to say, not even a mile away from Yellowstone Lake. Okay? USGS again has the location of this quake wrong. Just like many other cases around the globe. USGS certainly should know what it's talking about since they invented the way to report earthquakes. But yet they still cannot show us definitively where an earthquake is. Because this earthquake is nowhere near Mammoth Geyser Basin. This is Yellowstone Lake. This is the minus 0.3 microquake near Yellowstone Lake. Okay? Again, USGS can't even tell us where it is. That's a sad thing. It's a very sad day. Okay? Sad, sad day. Now, I'm going back to Texas right here. We have a good-sized swarm of earthquakes over here in southwestern Texas. Coyanosa, Texas, Toya, Texas, and even over in Midland, Texas, okay? I'm going to show you something. This is near Malaga, New Mexico, the southern end of New Mexico. USGS is saying that this is in White City, New Mexico. It's not. This is southwestern Texas, Toya, Texas area. Okay? 2.1 earthquake. This is a 1.4 tremor here. I want to show you what's going on. Look at all these earthquakes hitting here. Every one of these earthquakes is an oil and gas earthquake. Every one of these earthquakes is an oil and gas quake. That's a 1.4. This is a 3.2 small quake. 3.2 small quake. This is a 1.6 tremor. This is also 1.7 tremor. Oil and gas. Oil and gas, guys. Oil and gas plots up and down this whole area. Okay? That's what's going on. That is what's going on here in southwestern Texas. Let's go up here to the north. Let me show you this. This is a 2.1 in Toya, Texas. USGS has this in White City, New Mexico. It's not. Toya, Texas. This is a 2.1. Right next to it, a 1.8. Just southeast of there. This is probably 25 miles southeast of there. Okay? This is a 2.0 earthquake. Look at the oil and gas plots right there. Look at all these oil and gas plots. If any earthquakes are anywhere near within 6 to 10 miles of one of these oil and gas plots, it's an oil and gas quake. If it's within 6 to 10 miles of an oil and gas plot operation, it's an oil and gas quake, and that's what this is. That's what this is. And again, USGS is calling this White City, New Mexico. It's not. It's not. Coyanosa, Texas, yes. White City, New Mexico, no. We go further southeast. Are still kilometers deep. approximately 4 miles deep. They said this is Malaga, Texas, or Malaga, New Mexico. This is Texas, southwestern Texas. All these earthquakes, all those earthquakes. Down south here in Falls City, Texas, right there, oil and gas. We had a 4.5 earthquake here a few weeks ago, Falls City, Texas. We're continuing to get hit here, oil and gas quakes. Carmine, Texas, a 2.8 earthquake here, oil and gas. Over here, Chirino, Texas, a 3.0 earthquake here, oil and gas. We come up here. I just love this. Prague, Oklahoma. 2 months ago, we had a 4.5 earthquake here in Prague. Ever since then, we've been getting hit with 2.0s, 1.5 tremors, 1.7 tremors, 1.2 tremors, and occasionally another 2.5 minor earthquake. This is a 1.5 tremor up here in Prague, Oklahoma. And then, like I said, this one over here in Steele, Missouri, a 2.5 earthquake right in the center of the New Madrid fault zone. When it rains, it pours, and it's going to continue. I promise it's going to continue. Let's go over to Cedar City, Utah. Mary Greeley did a report on this earthquake over here in Cedar City. They're reporting this to be a 2.5 minor earthquake here. Wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Folks, guess what? You didn't already know there's also volcanoes here. There are also volcanoes here. This is just on the northwestern side of Cedar City. Cedar City is down here. This is over on the northwestern side of Cedar City. Okay? They say this is just barely 1/10 of a mile deep. Folks, I just got word there's been a 7.4 earthquake over at Taiwan 7 minutes ago. Okay? Let's go over and take a look at it. A 7.4 earthquake in Taiwan is a major quake. Okay? A major earthquake. Now, just before we go there, over here in Colombia, we had a 5.0 earthquake here in Yopal, Colombia today. Okay? 1916 hours Eastern Time, which was just almost an hour ago. A 5.0 earthquake in Colombia, and yet they're still not showing all the earthquakes in South America. A sad day. Taiwan. I am very interested to see where they call this earthquake. I'm very, very interested to see where they call this quake. Earthquake tracker had it is Taiwan. Taiwan. Now I'm going to try to locate this quake here using another device. Because again, we can't trust even USGS to tell us the truth about what's going on. Because obviously it's not on their map, but they're reporting it. They're reporting it. But it's not on the map. Why? Why is it not on the map? Come on.
Location, Taiwan, class, major, magnitude, 7.4, depth, 6.2 miles, 9 minutes ago.
Depth, 7.2 miles, 7 minutes ago. We're going to find it. We're going to report on it. Folks, this is on the southeastern side of Taiwan. I want to show you where this is at. Okay, USGS still does not have it on their map. I want to show you where this is. Okay. They just downgraded to 6.8. They just downgraded that earthquake to a 6.8. Isn't that just like them? Over half magnitude downgrade. Over a half magnitude downgrade here. Let's show you where this earthquake is. Now, this earthquake is down here. There are people living here in Taiwan. Hualien City, the capital of Taiwan, is up here. Okay? Hualien City is up here. The capital of Taiwan is here. And this is down here. This is probably, and now they just moved it. Notice they moved it offshore now. That's interesting. Okay, this is a major earthquake. They've downgraded officially to 6.8. I'm showing you live. They just downgraded
6.8 from 7.4. Location, Taiwan. Strong, depth, 6.2 miles, 11 minutes ago.
Okay, a 7.0 would be, actually 6.9 is a half magnitude. This is over a half magnitude downgrade. Okay, they've also moved the quake offshore here. Now, it frequently does happen that as the scientists pull more and more information from this area, they find out that, yes, it is indeed offshore. If that's the case, people will have their life saved because the ocean waters absorbed some of the quake energy. Unreal, guys. Unreal. Now it's offshore. Oh, gee whiz, what did they do with the quake? There it is. They moved it far offshore here. 13 miles southeast of Hualien City here. Here it says 7.5, and yet USGS they just upgraded to 7.3, and the EMSC has this as a 7.5. I'm showing it to you live here. The European agency has this as a 7.5 earthquake. USGS downgraded it to a 6.8, and now they updated it back to a 7.3. And here, now the USGS has finally given this earthquake also a 7.5 earthquake. Okay, I want to show it to you live here. USGS has this as a 7.5 earthquake. Okay, 11.4 kilometers deep, 7 miles deep. Okay, a major earthquake off the coast of Taiwan tonight. Wilson just gave us a $20 super chat. Thanks so much. This is the only real information you get. Thank you so much. And I believe you're right. I believe you're absolutely right. Because USGS will never give us everything correct. We have to go and find it. Okay. Now you have the information. Do you guys have any questions about anything going on? You're saying my equipment is down? Tammy Compton is asking any tsunami warnings. Let's go find out. Let's go find out if there's tsunami warnings here. This is the National Data Buoy Center here. We'll be able to see if any buoys are in movement right now. We don't see any buoys moving right now. It doesn't mean they aren't moving, but it's not showing here. Let's go over to the Tsunami Warning Center. Aubrey's asking, isn't that an island? Yes, it is. Taiwan is an island. Here on the National Tsunami Warning Center, it says potential threat, Taiwan issued April 2nd, 2024 at 8:09:28 p.m. Eastern Time. 8:09:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go look at Guam. Okay? This is live, guys. You can't get any more real than this. Tsunami Information Statement Number 1, National Weather Service, Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, Honolulu. No tsunami threat to Guam from a distant quake. No tsunami warning as a result of distant quake. Down here, it says an earthquake with preliminary magnitude of 7.5 occurred in Taiwan at 9:58 a.m. Taiwan time, Wednesday. Okay, that's there. Let's back this up a little bit. Okay, let's go take a look at American Samoa, further south. Again, Tsunami Information Statement Number 1 here. No tsunami threat from this distant quake here. Okay, American Samoa. Let's see what other information we can pull up here. Okay. This is the emergency management in the state of Hawaii. Tsunami Information Statement. The statement is for information only, no action required. An earthquake has occurred with the preliminary parameters. Origin time 03:28 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Actually, this is not even right. This is 26 March. It's past 26 March. So that's not even correct. Let's go back here and try to find Hawaii information. Here we go. This should be it here. This statement's for information only, no action required. An earthquake has occurred within the preliminary parameters 01:58 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time today. Coordinates 23.8 north, 121.7 east, Taiwan. 7.5 magnitude quake. A tsunami threat exists for parts of the Pacific located closer to the earthquake. However, based on all available data, there is no tsunami threat to Hawaii. Repeat, based on all available data, there is no tsunami threat to Hawaii. This is the only statement issued for this event unless additional data are received. So there's no tsunami threat to Hawaii. However, there may be a tsunami threat to the area, probably around Taiwan or even around the what happened to this? Hold on a second. I'm going back to the National Tsunami Warning Center. Sandra Chapman's here. Good to see you, Sandra. Okay. The Tsunami Warning Center is saying tsunami threat. That's all they said about this earthquake, a tsunami threat. Let's go over here and click on this. Okay. Again, we've already looked at Guam, no tsunami threat in Guam. We have not looked at the West Coast. American Samoa, we read that just a few minutes ago, as well as Hawaii. The tsunami threat may exist over here in the Taiwan area and the northern Philippines. The Taiwan area and the northern Philippines are probably the only place. They just downgraded to a 6.2 now. Came out as a 7.5, downgraded to 6.8, back up to 7.3, and now downgraded to a 7.2. Insane. There is a possibility of a tsunami threat here to the island of Taiwan and over here into Luzon, Philippines here. Okay, possibly a tsunami threat here to China. Okay, this is close enough. A possible tsunami threat here to China. Now, interesting here. It's interesting here. China has a bunch of their Air Force and Navy planes up and down the coast because they were planning for an invasion of Taiwan at some point. Is that tsunami going to nail all their planes and everything there? It would be very interesting to find out. It would be very interesting to find out. But right now, there's only a tsunami threat. It's not a tsunami warning right now. Okay? Yeah, they're officially announcing it being a 6.2. Karen Brown says a 6.2. It's just, that's an aftershock. That's just an aftershock, guys. Okay, we're going to monitor this throughout the night. Okay. Wilson says, was it an earthquake or an explosion? Folks, this was an earthquake. I don't know of any kind of explosion that could be upwards of a 7.5 magnitude quake. Okay? I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen. Excuse me a second. We've seen this happen before too. But now they're saying this earthquake happened just offshore from Taiwan. And it appears to me that they moved it closer to shore. And they're now showing it to be a 7.4, not a 6 or 7.2. So we're showing an aftershock of a 6.2 earthquake. Now a 6.2 aftershock. A 6.2 is a very strong quake. A 7.4, 7.5 is an earthquake. So major earthquake is struck off of southeastern Taiwan tonight. And they moved this earthquake back to the shoreline. It's back to the shoreline now. Before they moved it offshore, now it's back. Richard Smith says he's watching the EMSC like a hawk. A chicken hawk. Richard, you're a blast. You're a blast. Julie Elliott is monitoring this also in the chats, and she's saying it's 16 miles deep. Frank is asking, what is the EMSC? That is the European Seismic Network. The European Seismic Network. Let me bring up, oh gosh, what happened to my agencies here? Okay. I'm going to bring up the EMSC page to show you. Okay, it's just it's called the European Mediterranean Seismological Center. EMSC, European Mediterranean Seismological Center, the European agency. Okay, it's an international non-governmental organization that collects and disseminates seismic data from seismic institutes and eyewitnesses. They find the latest earthquakes in the European Mediterranean area in the world. And the EMSC is more accurate than the USGS. That's what we've also found out. The European agency is more accurate than the USGS. And we're getting felt reports in on this earthquake as well. Felt reports on this 7.5 earthquake that happened 26 minutes ago. And yes, we do have a 6.3 aftershock from this earthquake. It has not been downgraded to a 6.2. It was a 6.3 aftershock just a few minutes ago. Ray Spur says a shark exploded. No, I don't think that happened. Rob 52 says that it's 7.411 miles southwest of Hualien City. Yeah, it appears to be on shore over there in Taiwan. Oh, the Americans are saying it was upgraded from the 6.2 to the 6.3. Isn't that interesting? Oh, our great Americans, they do such good job. Bull. Yeah, so far a 6.3 aftershock, and I will bet you that there's dozens already. This was a major earthquake, guys. A 7.4 earthquake is a major quake no matter where it's at. And I will bet you we have more 6.3s or 6s or even 5s already. Okay, that was nearly a half hour ago it struck. I'm sure we have that now. They're just not reporting it. A 1 centimeter fish exploding causing earthquake at the North Pole? I don't think so. By the way, guys, if you go over to the EMSC, you look it up. You look up the web page. It includes a map showing earthquakes, not all of them, but showing earthquakes all around the globe. But if you scroll down a little farther, they show every earthquake listed within the last several days. You can scroll through page after page on the EMSC showing you every earthquake that has hit. That's what the good thing is about the EMSC. Okay? European agency does a fabulous job where the U.S. agency sticks its finger where the sun don't shine and thinks that they just can get away with it. They can do whatever they want. Okay? 91 thumbs up, guys. If you enjoy this program and what you've seen tonight, showing us covering a live earthquake over in Taiwan, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Okay? We'd appreciate another 6.3 earthquake. And a 6.5 and a 6.3. Wow. It continues. It continues. Oh, Aubrey, you're hilarious. Aubrey's in the chat, everyone, in case you're just listening or whatever, not watching. Aubrey's in the chat saying, according to her ex-husband, she's responsible for continental drift. She's responsible for the tectonic plates moving. Oh, yeah. Betty Zoom just said a 7.5 in Taiwan. I just heard. Yes, that happened about 30 minutes ago. We're watching everything going on here. Interesting. Yeah, it happened at approximately 7:58 p.m. Eastern time here, and now okay, that was a 6.3 and they upgraded to a 6.5. Okay, I see what they're doing. But I'll still bet you we have more aftershocks than that. That was a major earthquake, and I'm sure we have a lot more aftershocks than they're showing. Unreal. Unreal. Thanks, Sleeping Volcano, for putting out the information here. We appreciate it. Gosh, this is going to be a night. Wilson's asking, will those sixes trigger the ring of fire? Quite honestly, this earthquake is over in the Western Pacific, on land in Taiwan. It's probably shaking the entire island of Taiwan. Okay, it's on land. It's definitely on land now. Earlier they said they took it off land, but this is on the land now. It shook up the place. Is it going to trigger the ring of fire? I doubt it. The island of Taiwan is shaking. Okay, it's possible that we will see.
Earthquake upgraded to 6.5 from 6.3. Location, Taiwan. Class strong. Depth 7.5 miles. 19 minutes ago.
I don't think we're going to see less earthquakes and probably 100 earthquakes within the next, I want to say the next 12 hours. I will almost bet you there's going to be 100 aftershocks within the next 12 hours. Okay, this was a major earthquake, a big major earthquake. A big deal. A great big deal. Wilson, that was a great question, by the way, too. Thank you. We appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on? I'm going to try to see what the media is saying about that quake. The Associated Press is calling this a strong quake hitting Taiwan. Tsunami alert issued. That's what the Associated Press is saying. I'm pulling up the information right now. Coming out of Taiwan, a strong earthquake of magnitude 7.5 struck off Taiwan, and Japan issued a tsunami alert for the southern Japanese island of Okinawa, the island group of Okinawa. Japan's meteorological agency forecasts a tsunami of up to 3 meters, 9.8 feet. It's not clear now if there's any damage from the quake Wednesday morning in Taiwan, but I can almost say that there probably is. Major quakes lead to major damage, period. Okay. The Japanese Meteorological Agency doesn't know if there's any damage at all from the quake. And it is Wednesday morning over there. Unreal. Unreal. Let's see if anybody else is reporting anything going on. Oh, I just love it. Yeah, they're calling for tsunami warnings on the southern Japanese islands. Even the Greek Times in Greece is reporting this quake. 7.5 magnitude earthquake hits northeast Taiwan. Greece is reporting it. An earthquake early warning was issued because of the earthquake northeast Taiwan. Tsunami warnings have been issued, according to what we're seeing here. Nobody else is showing anything here. Let's check some other places here. New York Times. New York Times reported at 8:28 p.m. Eastern Time, a powerful 7.4 earthquake hit Taiwan on Wednesday morning, prompting nearby Japan to issue tsunami warning. San Diego Union Tribune, my old hometown. A strong earthquake hits near Taiwan, tsunami alert issued. A strong earthquake of magnitude 7.5 struck off Taiwan. Now they're saying it's on Taiwan. And again, Japan issued a tsunami alert for the southern Japanese island group of Okinawa. Japan's meteorological agency forecasts a tsunami of up to 3 meters, 9.8 feet. It wasn't clear if there was any damage from the quake Wednesday morning in Taiwan. Interesting. So even my old hometown has come out with a small report about it. Okay, ABC News, the same thing. Barons.com basically saying the same thing. Bloomberg. Tsunami warning issued for Japan's Okinawa after a 7.5 earthquake hit over in Taiwan. Wow. Interesting. Going over to the National Public Radio, they're saying the strong Taiwan earthquake traps people and derails a train. And I do have information right here showing a building going down here in Taiwan, right there. So there is damage and it's confirmed. This happened early in the morning, about after 9 a.m. Taiwan time, and a train derailed and there's been damage over in Taiwan. You're seeing it right here. Interesting. Yeah, unreal. A strong earthquake shook much of Taiwan on a 3-story building, temporarily trapping 4 people inside. No, that was not it. I'm sorry. That was not it. That happened on September 18th, 2022, 4 years ago. That time it was a 6.8 earthquake. This is a 7.5. So that was from 2 years ago in Taiwan. Sorry, guys. I am going to try to get more information here in just a second. Australia's covering it too. Let's see what Australia is saying. I like Australia because they are fairly close to Taiwan, even though they're thousands of miles away. But the Australian news agencies are, one, a lot more fair, and two, a lot more accurate than even the US agencies. They tell the truth when the US agencies lie to us. Let's see. They're talking about the tsunami warning issued by Japan. Tsunami waves as high as 3 meters, 10 feet were expected immediately for remote Japanese islands near Taiwan, including Miyakojima, Miyakojima, Miyakojima Island, the agency said. Interesting. So they're only reporting what everybody else says here. Oh, let's see. And then there's news reports coming out of Taiwan, but it's all in Chinese or Mandarin Chinese. And I don't read any of it. Let's see if they have a translator here. Nope. Interesting. Let's see. ABC News is reporting this, including the tsunami alert for up to 9.8 feet, 3 meters high tsunami. Taiwan's earthquake monitoring agency gave the magnitude as 7.2, while the USGS put it at 7.5. Television showed buildings in the eastern city of Hualien shaking off their foundations. The quake came at 7:58 a.m. Taiwan time. 7:58 a.m. Taiwan time, and they said it could be felt in the capital of Taipei. So we're getting this information to you as it's literally happening. Deadly earthquake. No, that was 2022. Nope, that's it. That's all the information that the internet has so far. Do you guys have any questions? This is a big deal. Another 5.6 in Taiwan. No, it doesn't surprise me. That area is going to rock and roll for quite some time now. Like I said, I would not doubt that we're going to see 100 aftershocks within the next 12 hours. And yes, we'll be back on here tomorrow morning to let you know what's going on, because this is a big deal. I have friends over in Taiwan myself. I think they're in Taipei though. No, Richard, no, these aftershocks are not going to get any smaller. Not for a while. Karen Brown is talking about a 4.4 aftershock.
Location, Taiwan. Last moderate magnitude 5.6, depth 6.2 miles, 8 minutes.
5.6. A 7.4, the EMSC is showing further down here. 7 point earthquake on there, just north of there. Okay, 0.5 right there. Okay, then further north, just south of Hualien City, we have a 5. This is a 5.6 large quake right there. Or should I say a very large 5.6 quake right there. Okay. And yes, there's people that do live along the coast. There are people that live along the coast there. All over this area. They're showing the aftershocks. They're showing every aftershock being off the coast. That's not going to continue. This earthquake was on shore. They first had it offshore. Now they put it onshore, and there's going to be a lot more earthquakes onshore as well. Plain and simple. Sleeping Volcano says a 6.3 has hit Zulin, Taiwan. Yeah. God bless those good people in Taiwan. Does anybody have any questions for me? This is the first time in quite some time we've been right here on the air when something like this happened. And it's going to continue. USGS only has one earthquake showing, and that is a 6.5. Right now we have 4 aftershocks on the EMSC map, and USGS showing 1. That shows you that our agency here in the United States doesn't give a crap. Plain and simple. Okay. Wilson is talking about that eclipse. Again, I don't think it's going to be much of anything. Okay. I cannot see anything happening unless, and this is a big one, unless all these swarms of people that have come across the border, 7+ million people have come across the border in the last 3 years, and Biden has just let them do it. He's now bringing them in from other countries on planes. He wants to bring people in right now so they can be here for the election. The Democrat communists are hoping that they will have an election with the president getting all the votes because he has brought people into this country. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. So anyway, I just don't think this eclipse is going to be any big deal. Yes, some of the major cities has brought in the National Guard to help protect the cities, and that's probably rightfully so, because that's where all the terrorists and the illegal aliens have come in. Okay? But it's crazy. But what these agencies are doing, and I'm talking about Homeland Security lending a blind eye to what's happening, allowing people to come across the border with hardly any checking at all. No vetting. A lot of these people have dumped their IDs on the south side of the border before they even come across. We don't know who those people are. There is no vetting. Those people say, I'm Joe Blow from Armenia, or I'm Joe Blow from Haiti, I'm Joe Blow from the Dominican Republic, I'm Joe Blow from Nairobi, I'm Joe Blow from Saudi Arabia. The fact of the matter is, 90% of the people that have come across the border are military-age people from 25 of age on up to men. And there are a lot of countries that want to strike America, and this is as good as way of any, getting those people into our country and then taking a strike against us. And we've allowed it. Gene Ellen said, could they want us on higher ground? It's just above the fault line, is my thoughts. Anywhere, if you guys are living on the coast, the West Coast, or even on the East Coast, okay, we're already having stronger earthquakes on the United States and Canadian East Coast. If you live along the coastline, it's better for people to live on higher ground. I live here on the East Coast, but I live at 1,252 feet above sea level. I think I'm going to be fine. I don't think a tsunami or anything else is going to reach up to where I live. But it could flood out Charlotte. It could flood out Raleigh, North Carolina. It could flood out Savannah, Georgia. It could flood out South Carolina, Virginia. We've had hurricanes that have flooded the coastal cities on the East Coast. We've seen it happen. We saw it happen up in New York. We've seen it happen up in Philadelphia, that area too. Things happen. Ray Spur says, as soon as I start ranting, the site buffers. Oh yeah, they hate me. The USBS hates me. Okay? I don't care. Soon they're not going to stop me because I now have software to stop them. We'll see what happens. Giovanni Rivera Alvarez says we're already doomed. I don't think so. Yes, we're behind the 8 ball because of what Joe Biden has allowed. But folks, guess what? We're still strong. There's millions of us against millions of them. And there's millions of us that are armed, ready, willing, and able to protect ourselves and our families and those we care about. Okay? We're here. Wilson says 1,000 feet up in the California pathway. That's a good thing. I used to live in San Diego County, Poway, California. It was 600 feet above sea level. Poway's going to get flooded. Poway's going to get flooded. What about those people that live in La Jolla? 100, 200 feet above sea level. They're going to get swamped as well. Okay? The further away you are away from the sea, away from the ocean, the better off you are. Okay? And that's including in Washington and Oregon as well. Richard Smith says wages is going live about Taiwan. That's good. I'm glad. Guys, I think I'm going to let this go here at this point in time. We've told you about what's going on. We pretty much covered what has happened during the last 24 hours, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here with us. There's one other scripture that I want to share with you tonight, and this one is in Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 10. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 10 is a great oration by Paul the Apostle. And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thine hands. Paul told the people that the earth was the creation of God, of Jesus Christ. What a great thing. Over in chapter 2, verses 6, 7, and 8. This scripture has been quoted in music many, many times over during the past 100 or 200 years. What is man that thou art mindful of him? Or the Son of Man that thou visited him? Thou madest him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownest him with glory and honor. Didst set him over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For him, in that he put all in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him. But now we see not yet all things put under him. Jesus, who is made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. Through sufferings. He sanctifieth, and they who are sanctified are all of one. For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren, saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren, in the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee. Jesus Christ is the King. We just got through celebrating Easter. If you have not seen our Sunday school class on Sunday, please go over there. Please go over to our program on Sunday. It's a 45-minute long Sunday school class. But look at it. I bore my testimony of Jesus Christ. I hope that all of you will take advantage of it and look at it. And even send me an email or a text message telling me what you thought of it. I would appreciate that so much as well. Demon Catman is now seeing a 5.5 Taiwan depth, 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. I want to thank everybody for being here. JJ says, breaking Japan, sirens sounding, calling for evacuations in the Ryukyu Islands after a 7.5 tsunami warning has been issued. The Ryukyu Islands, folks, are just south of the main islands of Japan, including Tsunami Island, which has a volcano on it that is presently erupting. The Ryukyu Islands Okinawa and the group of islands around it are all part of the Ryukyu Islands. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. Okay? That whole area is going to get nailed, unfortunately. A 9-foot tsunami. A 9-foot tsunami. Okay? NCWQ, Worldwide News and Disasters Explorer says after 4.4 aftershock 2. There's going to be 100 aftershocks between now and say 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I will probably be coming back on the air about 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday morning, to recap what's happened and give you any other updated information. Does anybody have any questions before I get off the air? Another 5.3 earthquake aftershock. Anybody else have any questions for me? I love you guys. I do. Yes, that 7.5 earthquake was a push. It was on a continental plate, a tectonic plate. That whole area, folks, of Taiwan here is just one small area of the continental plates, the tectonic plates. There are 7 different plates down there in the South Pacific. Each and every plate is subducting, going underneath the other plate. A huge subduction area. Richard says, thank you for all you do, Ron. I thank you for being here. You guys are why I'm here. I love you much. I love you very much. Trevor's saying it's going to hurt bad. Oh, I agree. Every time there's been an earthquake over here during the past years, the citizens of Taiwan suffered. Okay? It's bad. It really is. Everyone, I will be back here probably about 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, they're still talking about that 5.3 16 minutes ago. It's going to continue happening. Okay, the pole shift is also going to happen, but I don't think it's going to come within the next 5 or 10 years. Okay, it's just not there yet. The pole shift is not there yet, guys. It's not. I'm monitoring what the scientists are telling me. And even they don't know when it's coming. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. 2.8 in Southern California. A 2.8 minor earthquake, Southern California. That's normal. I will bet you we can find some 3.0, 3.5s in Southern California right now. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a good night. Good night, Paulie. Good night, everybody. I love you very much. If anything else happens, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. I hope you have a great night and a better tomorrow. Trevor says, I hope it's not so harsh. I hope not. I hope not. I've just seen a lot of these earthquakes happen before, and yes, it is scary. It really is. Have a good night, everyone. I love you very much. Take care. We'll see you soon. God bless. 4.4 in northern Alaska 16 minutes ago. Seismic energy is going to move north, guys, island fault and up into Alaska. Good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon.